And after meeting President Zelensky in Ukraine, the Hollywood actor Ben Stiller praises the spirit of the people.
These are just people like you and I who have been caught in a circumstance totally beyond their control. Nobody wants to flee from their home.
Tensions between Russia and Lithuania following a ban on the transfer of goods to the Russian territory. Ukraine has confirmed that Russian forces have captured a key frontline village in the eastern region of Luhansk. The loss of Toshkivka gives Russia a further foothold in the grinding battle for the nearby cities of Sievierodonetsk and Lysychansk. The region's governor says continuous artillery fire have caused catastrophic destruction to both cities. Russia has warned Lithuania of serious consequences after it banned the rail transfer of some goods to the Russian territory of Kaliningrad. The region, where an estimated 1 million people live, is sandwiched between Lithuania and Poland. It relies heavily on imports of raw materials and spare parts from Russia and the European Union. Our Russia editor, Steve Rosenberg, has this update from Kaliningrad.
When one of the most powerful men in Russia, Nikolai Patrushev, the hawkish chief of the Russian Security Council, flies into Kaliningrad, as he did earlier today, and issues a very public and a very stern warning that the consequences of Russia's response to all of this will be very bad, very serious for the Lithuanian people. That makes you wonder what Russia is planning here. Now, some Russian politicians, some Russian commentators are calling for a military response to Lithuania, a show of force by Russia. Now that's quite incredible, really, because that would mean basically Russia against NATO. Now, I don't think that is very likely, but the fact that some people are talking about this and pushing for this, that shows just how bad relations have become between Russia and the West.
The Ukrainian authorities have confirmed this morning that Russian forces have captured a key frontline village in the eastern region of Luhansk.
After weeks of intensive fighting, the loss of Toshkivka gives Russia a further foothold in the area. Our correspondent Joe Inwood is in Kyiv for us this morning. Morning, Joe. How serious a setback is this for Ukraine?
I think it's a setback. This is not decisive. This is not like the fall of Sievierodonetsk, the big city we've been talking about for a long time. Toshkivka is a village just to the south of the city of Lysychansk. So basically it is the Russians pushing that little bit closer towards this big strategic objective they've had for a long time. Now that is the capture of these two cities, Sievierodonetsk and Lysychansk. They sit one either side of this river called the Sievierodonetsk River. People may remember from the satellite imagery that showed huge numbers of Russian tanks destroyed crossing it. Now those two cities together, that's basically the last bit of this area called Luhansk. Sorry, there's a lot of names in here, I know, but Luhansk is one of the regions that the Russians are trying to take. So basically, in short, if they can take these two cities, they take this one region. If they take this one region, that's half of their big strategic aim completed. And so that's why all this matters. The Russians have been throwing everything at this. They've been putting all of their forces into Sievierodonetsk, and we understand that the Ukrainians are still holding on there, but only just. They've only got one little foothold, one factory left in the city, and they are trying to hold on, but it's going to be very difficult.
Now, as the war in Ukraine grinds on, more than 5 million refugees are trying to settle into their new homes across Europe.
For the 1,000 or so who've ended up in Wales, that settling in process begins at so-called welcome centres, the largest one of which is on the west coast of Wales, near Cardigan.
Our Wales correspondent Harold Griffith went to have a look and to meet some of the families who have been staying there.
We are safe here. As soon as we stepped on this land, we felt it. We are safe.
This small corner of Welsh countryside has, for the last 2 months, become a haven for families fleeing war. The Urdd Centre normally hosts Welsh schools, but it's Ukrainian children who've been living, learning and laughing here. Olena and Katerina arrived just a fortnight ago, escaping a life where their children had to hide in basements.
Everyone's so friendly.
It's like a big family here.
Yeah, used to each other. I don't know everyone's name, but they seems like so close. It's just amazing. It's like, it feels like home.
Completely happy, both of my kids. They're just playing, they visit school every day, we travel like every week, so they're extremely happy. They feel safe here.
For the children, there are daily lessons in English and Welsh and a world of activities, so their parents can concentrate on finding work, accessing benefits and figuring out where they go next.
It's more than a hotel experience. You know, it's important that there's an element of respite, tranquility when people are coming out of very traumatic times in their lives, support for the parents to have other people looking after children, making sure that they're active.
The first refugees started arriving here in April. By now there's over 220 adults and children, the youngest just 8 months old. But this was only ever a temporary solution. The aim is to try and move all of the families on within the next month.
In all, the Welsh Government directly sponsored nearly 2,500 people to come to Wales. Most are yet to arrive, so the scheme has been paused to move people on from welcome centres.
It is now a challenge to make sure that we're able to get a flow out of the welcome centres to free up more spaces for people to arrive. And the next few weeks is about getting that balance. We have to be able to get the flow out of the centre, and then we will create spaces and we can open the scheme up again to welcome more people into Wales.
We have never expected that hospitality and that welcoming.
Marta is one of many waiting to hear where she, her daughter and 2 grandchildren go next. But she says she isn't worried. Her only fear is for the family she's left behind.
Half of my heart is left in Ukraine. It is my son, my daughter-in-law, but we are safe here. That is the most important thing for us.
That sanctuary has brought some certainty, and for these children, most of all, the freedom to have fun again. Howell Griffith, BBC News.
That looked like
Thumbs up.
fun, yeah.
Yeah, it does. That's lovely to see, isn't it?